finally seeing a film version of
I fucking hate Hawkman more than I ever have.
Wait,
I couldn't figure out whether he was the Thanagarian Hawkman or the reincarnate. I fucking hate Hawkman. I detest that fucking character. It's impossible to find any kind of like canon on Hawkman because there is none.
You don't remember us
like 8 different people. He's either been reincarnated or he's a fucking alien, and fuck him and his nth metal and his bullshit wings. He can go fuck himself. I can fly. So can every other good superhero besides Batman, and Batman has a fucking plane. Go fuck yourself, Hawkman.
I don't know. I kind of like him.
I mean, Hawkman is a space detective, just like Green Lantern, only with a less useful weapon.
Comment. Hawkman sucks. Aircraft Sparky, good job.
You know, maybe that's what we need to do. We need to rebrand our show as the We Hate Hawkman show. Because you know, like there are all these shows out there, right? That are, like
the branding.
That are always like
always super branding of the show, Larry.
Yeah, the Hawkman thing is some deep lore that goes back years at this point.
I mean, look, all I gotta say is the Hawkman is just a knockoff of the Lensman, but he was like the Lensman mixed with Indiana Jones.
Here's the thing: when I get into a comic book universe or storyline or whatever, I don't just read the book and reflect on it. Okay, I need to know everything about every character in that goddamn book. So when I started reading shit, and I was just like, "Oh, here's the Justice Society. This Hawkman guy, he looks pretty cool. Like, why he's carrying a big ass mace? That's awesome. Let me dig into him." And about 4 days later, I came up for air and I was like, I hate everything about what I'm doing, and I still have no fucking clue about this goddamn character.
Well, don't forget that Hawkman one time reincarnated himself into Dr. Fate.
That was part of the Black Adam movie, believe it or not.
Well, I mean, they didn't actually do it in the Black Adam movie, but they alluded to it.
Right. Pierce Brosnan, best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all agree on that.
Adriana's brother, the fat guy with the bald spot, second best part of the movie.
Then who will teach your son
Black
violence?
Adam, probably third best part of the movie. Exactly. Black Adam, probably third best part of the movie.
I'll teach your son violence.
Yeah. I don't want anybody teaching my son violence. Oh God. No, I didn't hate Black Adam. It was excruciatingly long though. I felt like it should have ended probably 3 times before it did.
You know, Black Adam was the last movie I saw before I saw James Cameron's Avatar 2.
Oh, we're not ready for racism time. Rune isn't here to hurt with it yet.
Well, no. Avatar 2 is not the discussion of racism time. Racism time is
it's going to be blended in, but
we're going to turn it into racism time, Larry. Whether you like it or
Black
not.
Adam too.
All right.
Yeah, Blueface is not okay, Larry. But no, I liked the movie. It was a little bit too long. You know, I'm okay with the origins of Black Adam. I'm not okay with the fact that this is the only time we're ever going to get to see The Rock as Black Adam.
I mean, we might see him again. But James Gunn has a plan where, Aquaman's going to do a swan song, and Shazam's going to do a swan song, and Ezra Miller's going to reset the universe. And then we're going to have Barry Allen from the Flash TV show, which actually it turns out wasn't that popular. That was like all industrial grade gaslighting in a shower. And Iris says, "Damn it, Barry."
The first 2 seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, I kind of liked of the
No. You don't understand. CW lost money every single year. of its existence.
Well, yeah,
We actually
but
have this. We actually have this. I've got this ready. See, there we go. Up there. Boom. Prepared. I'm fucking prepared today.
God damn, is this a real show?
Yeah, no, that's Midnight's Edge. I believe. Yeah, that's from their archive section. So basically, they didn't make a dime off of broadcasting the CW in the United States. They were able to lose less money by packaging the CW shows together in foreign countries into Netflix, which is why they made all those stupid teen vampire shows.
Oh, so you mean the CW in general lost?
Yeah, the CW in general lost money.
Oh, okay.
And like the Flash was
Well,
apparently
DC as a property has been a loss leader for Warner Studios forever.
Mhm.
Like they make money
like-
on the merchandising, and that's it.
Yep. And like the CW Supergirl show, it was like
They
they
just
tried
create
it
more
on
content
PBS.
so they can put out more merchandise.
Yep. And so they can monetize the content now on streaming services.
Right.
And that's why they sold the network
Replayability and Discovery.
Yeah, they sold the CW to actually all the affiliates. The affiliates made a company to buy
okay.
the CW, so it's now going to be like a bunch of game shows and reality shows and stuff for old people. Like lots of back issues of Matlock are going to be playing on TV.
Shit, I might watch the CW now.
And it
Fuck, that
turns
means I'm
out
an old
that
man.
before the CW became the CW, UPN barely made money, and the WB almost made money.
That sounds about right.
So we were gaslit into believing that, there's all this dynamic stuff happening at the CW, when actuality, it was barely being kept afloat. They were doing scams and schemes on third world countries to say, listen, we will give you all these vampire shows for your network in Outer Mongolia, but you also need to get the Flash.
Are vampires just really hot in Mongolia?
I mean, that's what
Like
my phone app says, that there are
like
hot
that's-
vampires in Mongolia that are wanting to meet me.
Most popular
Goddamn
genre.
Mongolian, tear down my shitty wall.
Most popular genre in Ulaanbaatar is vampire dramas.
Yeah. But do we want to talk about...
And that's not racist. That's an actual city in Mongolia.
Yeah. Do we want to talk
Before
about
anybody
how...
says anything.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how Patty Jenkins was planning to bring back Steve Trevor again?
Yes.
But this time using the Lazarus pits?
Don't you need the body?
Yeah, let me find that. She has it.
She just has his skeleton laying around.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that normal for you? Like, you've been obsessed with this guy that you basically spent 2 weeks with? And you've kept him alive for like 80 years?
No, I can't say I've been there.
How far back up the text is that? I know it's before our discussion on.
I think it was way up there. Just a second.
Because I grabbed a bunch of stuff. Shit, that's above Ayrton's gun.
It wasn't that far back, was it?
Yeah,
It was.
All right.
Huh.
Remember how we kind of bobbled a couple attempts to do a show last week?
No, because I was so fucking sick last week, I barely even remember it.
I ate too much chicken and overslept and just didn't feel like it. Not even gonna bullshit. Okay, so we've got 2 Wonder Woman things here. We can tie them together. Let's just pull that up.
I mean, as we all know, Wonder Woman
And-
likes to be tied together.
True.
That is the Wonder Woman lore.
All right. I just didn't want to dox my DMs. I don't think you can. Yeah, you can't see anything here. There we go. All right, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 pitch involved Diana Prince placing Steve Trevor into a Lazarus pit where the League of Assassins would use his enhanced strength to go to war against Themyscira. The film ends with Diana leaving him in the care of Task Force X. So they literally just ripped off the mid sequence of Black Adam and a Batman villain for the Wonder Woman 3 idea. Is that where we're going with this?
I mean, the real question is, does she make Diana rape another guy? Because I'm never going to let anybody talking about Patty Jenkins forget that.
Hold on. Rune, the link's in the group chat like it always is.
I also sent it to you in your Discord DM, Rune.
You have to scroll past the two memes that...
Does the man just not use Twitter?
I mean,
does the man just no longer fucking use Twitter and lets us to yell at the fucking ether?
Scroll up like
you
seven
bitches.
Seven.
There we
I'm
go,
an old man. I can't use the Twitters.
There you go, Rune.
I sent the link to the same fucking place I always send it. God damn it.
No,
hey,
you have
two
two separate DM
chains
for two separate sources of information, and then you cover it up with
yes,
with all kinds of bullshit. No. I just am like, where's the link? Give me the link. Send me the fucking link, because that's the only way to get anything done around here.
Hey, you missed Church talking about how much he hated Hawkman.
You know what you didn't miss, though, Ray?
I don't.
You didn't miss racism time. We saved that for you.
Oh, good. No, I was up today. I puttered around, did some stuff, and a friend of mine, who runs a regular podcast on the weekends. He's been here before. You remember Wolfgar? He's at fucking low ebb right now. He is in a bad way. So I had nothing to do this morning. So I just it's like, it's 4 p.m. I'll sit with my dog, my little bony, sad little dog. I will keep him company for a bit, and instantly fell asleep. And then I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, it's 7. I gotta get on the podcast.
So wait. So you're saying you almost pulled a church today? Hey.
Yeah.
Based on our conversations, I could make the solid argument that we said the podcast is moving to Sundays and didn't expect there to be a Saturday podcast.
No.
The only reason I
put
found
that up
out
to a vote, and you two motherfuckers never voted.
The only reason I showed up tonight is because I looked at my YouTube and went, "Oh, there's a show listed. I should probably check." Because I at least do half my job.
I put it up to you. Well, I put it up to you and Larry, and neither one of you ever made a comment on it. You guys, I guess, just accepted that we might be moving to Sunday.
Well, Church, it's your show, and Ayrton is the tech guy. If you guys say we're moving to Sunday, we're moving to Sunday. My schedule is woefully open. As long as it's a day I know what it is.
I think, to be fair,
I don't know. I did sleep off the hangover with it. He did. We never got an official date on it, so I just left it here. That's fair. Because I figured we can all sleep the hangover off a little bit better if we do it Saturday.
But no, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman. That's fine. Just at some point, let's put aside a couple of minutes to talk about AI art and the current stupidity that is making my friends quit RPGs.
Wait, what?
Let's finish.
Let's talk about.
Hold on. Let's finish talking. Let's finish talking about Wonder Woman raping a dude, and then we'll go, and then we'll jump into that.
I mean, we don't know if she's going to rape a dude, but we do know is
woefully unaware of this. Like, what are we talking about?
Wait, in Wonder Woman 84, she raped a dude. He was mind controlled by Steve Trevor. She had sex with him. Yeah, so in the second Wonder Woman movie, there's a guy who was possessed by Steve Trevor. She had sex with him, so Wonder Woman raped a guy in a movie. And Patty Jenkins' excuse was, well, that was totally a thing in the 80s.
Magical Rohypnol's okay because it was the 80s?
Yeah.
Yes, because Quaaludes were still around.
Because
Well,
there were lots
I
of
mean,
80s romance possession
Quaaludes.
genre things. And
Well, I mean,
actually,
well, look, by that logic, does that mean that Wonder Woman has AIDS now because it was the 80s and AIDS was a thing?
no.
Is that the
'cause
logic we're going to go with?
That
I
guy
don't know.
didn't have
It
it,
was-
but Ayrton, I think I have that good meme image explains Patty Jenkins' problem with writing Wonder Woman.
Oh yes.
If you want to bring that up, Ayrton, because I don't have that one on my list.
Does it involve wearing a bicycle helmet?
It could.
To be fair to Rune, there are like 10 tweets after the link. So
No. But yeah, bring that image up there, Ayrton. That's the problem with Patty Jenkins' writing.
I saw that when we wrote that up. Police Squad was a treasure.
I mean, we can talk about AI art because that'll segue into the Navi, and then we can segue from the Navi into
well, we've got
yeah. So Patty Jenkins presented.
we've got one
her
more
dumb,
thing with what.
But yeah, she
Wonder
presented.
Woman.
Yeah, the tweet.
Yeah,
reads,
she. God damn it! Sorry, Church.
We got the tweet here. Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi told Patty Jenkins they didn't think her treatment for Wonder Woman 3 was the right direction. Jenkins told them they didn't understand what she was trying to do, and then linked the Wikipedia definition of character arc. That's a baller fucking move, though. Goes to her.
That just made me laugh so hard I dropped my cigar.
Well, let's see. Here's the thing. Since you guys were incommunicado for a while, David and I actually sat down and we had this lengthy conversation, right? Where we gave it the benefit of the doubt. We said, okay, let's analyze the films and try to figure out what the character arc was. Because we've got 2/3 of it, right? Right?
Mhm.
And we really dug into it. And the fact of the matter is like, no, there is no character arc.
Well,
Nobody knows what fucking character arc is.
I mean, the character arc of the second Wonder Woman movie was for Diana to tell people it's okay to be oppressed and to suffer.
No.
That was her character arc of the second movie.
No. The implication of using character arc to defend your third film that's not been made yet is the idea that all three films overall are a continuing narrative and that it's all going to make sense once you step away fridge logic like. So so the question is, what's the fridge logic here? Right?
So
what
the first
is
movie-
the magical logic between fighting dudes in World War One to pining for our dead boyfriend in 1984 and using wishes to whatever the fuck Wonder Woman 3 was supposed to be?
Well, hold up. Wonder Woman 2 wasn't about pining for your dead boyfriend. It was about how you should be happy with less. And how sometimes some people have more than you, and it's okay. That was the theme of the movie.
Look,
and that wanting more than you have is bad.
I thought it was about bringing leopard. I thought it was about bringing leopard print back.
No, the lady with the leopard prints, she wanted more than she had, and she was the example of why it's bad to want things and to go out and get those things.
Look, I stand by that if their movie is basically a dramatic retelling of the 1990s era Supergirl film, you have a problem.
That's unfair. The Supergirl film was at least watchable.
No. Here's the real problem. After only 19 minutes of this show, I have already emptied one old fashioned. It's going to be a ride tonight, boys.
Good thing I can turn the stream off.
So let me ask you this thing about the AI art because I'm curious.
All right.
Is he mad at the people who are trying to own the prompts?
No. Let's start with justifying terms. So what's going on is traditional artists are shitting themselves, right? Because there are now free, currently, very preliminary programs that allow you to put in some words and automatically generate still images that are pretty good.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, Matt and I have been using that.
I've
for
done
our
some
comic
research
for
on
some
this.
of the preliminary drawing.
Hold on. Before you get to that, Larry, I actually did some research on this, and apparently, what my statistics show is that 98.7% of all prompts entered into these programs are just big titty goth girlfriend.
Yes.
No, unfortunately, one of the programs actually named that. I wish I was kidding.
The thing is, is that in the broader conversation, people are not talking about the fact that this is very preliminary technology that, as soon as it can, it's going to be monetized. It will no longer be free, and it will be less qualitative.
I mean, I'm paying for subscription to one of them.
Right. See? They're also not talking about, when you actually look at it, industrialization, mechanization across different industries never entirely killed those proto industries in creation based media, right? So computers didn't replace draftsmen at the table. Computers didn't replace fully pencilers and inkers. It just changed the nature of the business, and yes, it did. At the end of the day, cut into the bottom line. It did make it more difficult, and maybe not as they didn't make as much money as they used to, right? Those are things that exist. Over in the RPG sphere, because of course we have to have our own level of stupid, there is a debate going on between those role-playing game aficionados who want traditional art in their RPGs, okay, and those who are mad at small press publishers using AI-generated art, right? Now, some guys called the Red Room, who, if you are a dirty, filthy, disgusting person like us, you totally will love. Go check out their work today. They don't give a shit. They freely admit, yeah, we use AI generated art for some of our stuff because they're small press and they need the price cutting, right? Wolfgar, a fun guy who used to work in the prison infrastructure as a guard, right, has been working very hard on a thing for Red Room's game line called Wretched is the New Black. Their game line is called Wretched. It's Wretched Bastards for fantasy, Wretched Western for westerns, Wretched Epoch if you kind of want to do 19th century Napoleonic, Redsploitation for 1970s if you really like Shaft, right? Wretched is the New Black is if you want to do anything from Orange is the New Black, obviously, to Oz, to Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS, in a prison.
Okay, now I do.
Yeah, no, I knew, because you're one of those filthy guys. If you like prison movies and you like exploitation and you like having fun at the role-playing table, that's what he wanted to put together, and he was working on it. And today he is in low ebb, and he's talking about shelving the entire industry and not making more books that he really wanted to make because people have been giving him the red ass about AI generated art. And I think that if you are so desperate to save your fucking industry that you are driving out new creators and they're just not going to try, something is fucking wrong.
I mean, let me just say, Rune,
here's my counter argument.
Go ahead. Well, what I was going to say is, while I'm pulling it up, so you can make the counter argument while I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, make your argument. I'm sharing the image because this is an image.
I have a counter argument to anybody saying AI generated art is pushing artists out of the field. Because I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a little program that got released for Windows 95 and 98. Might have just been Windows 98. RPG Maker
Yep.
Yeah.
It was gonna.
There's still people out there
gonna
using
put
it.
big publishers out of business. Big publisher. Final Fantasy was over because of RPG Maker, guys.
I've got it. I've got a version of it.
Yeah.
I've got multiple versions of it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 comes out next year, right?
I don't understand that shit enough to make an RPG, which is unfortunate because I'd love to use it.
Ayrton,
Well,
if you could do me a favor,
the idea for AI art to pull any kind of clout. First off, they got to stop making 8-fingered bitches. That's got to end.
Could you imagine
Actually-
what kind of hand
actually-
jobs we could give you with 8 fingers, though?
actually they've gotten
Man,
really
it makes my
figured
dick look
bitches.
smaller. I can't deal with it. But here's the rub about that. Like, pun intended. You've got an opportunity here as a traditional artist to enter a prompt into AI art and find reference material that you would normally have to spend days looking for.
Yeah. Hey,
And
speaking of
now you've
prompts,
got your reference
Larry,
material.
can you put in SS officer girlfriend and see what comes up?
Jesus Christ.
Again, the one I subscribe to doesn't let you get away with that.
Damn it.
We'll
The
we'll wait for racism time after New Year's to do that.
the thing is,
So I
Also,
posted
slight
2
disclaimer,
images in the
real quick. Slight disclaimer, just
Mhm.
for everybody, including the people on the show. This, unless we do a special edition when we get together, I'm just looking at the calendar right now. Saturday is Christmas Eve day next week. Ain't no fucking
nice.
way I'm doing a show.
I figured that part.
You're gonna be
Saturday
drunk and
following
surrounded by
that is
children.
New Year's Eve.
Right, you're
I
gonna be
mean,
drunk
we
and
could
surrounded by
totally-
children.
Well,
we could totally do a New Year's Eve
get
show.
drunk around children. I'm a good father.
Yeah, but no, we could totally do a New Year's Eve
Motherfucker, I have
show
a wife
though.
to kiss at midnight. You can suck my dick. We could do one Friday, maybe.
Yeah. So by the way, Rune,
Yeah.
that image that's on the screen there, I've used that
Oh.
image in a game.
Oh, nice. I mean, I've
Ayrton, can you put the other one up there?
Oh.
Scroll down.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Work, you fucker.
I've also used that one in a game.
Hey, I got some Mongolians that want to tear down that shitty wall.
I mean, that's actually a weird castle,
Give me a-
but
give me
And
a
the
second.
Got some
players-
shitty walls that Mongolians could tear down.
and the players saw that and they were like going, "Wow, that looks really cool," and they were really engaged with that encounter.
Hey, I sent a thing to the Red Room as a draft to show that I had the capacity to do labor, and I sent a 3D image. I just passed it your way. This is for Wretched Dead, which is a draft for how to do vampires and wretched bastards. You know, I'm not saying it's good or bad. What I am saying is that I think a lot of this is hand-wringing, sky is falling alarmism, and I am, a little concerned that people who don't have a bone in the fight are feeling pressure because other people are so desperate to. I sent it to Larry directly so that Larry can send it to you because it's not a website.
Give me a
Oh, he was just posting the images in the Twitter chat.
Yeah, give me that. And this is a cool vampire image too, by the way.
Yeah,
I dig it.
I would not have used it if it had been some piece of shit. I went through 3 or 4 random generated images.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you gotta
all
do
I
that.
think, all I think of when I see people bitching about how AI art is, ruining real artists' chances and blah 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 blah, whatever, is just like, oh, suck it up, you goddamn communist! You're not gonna after the revolution. You're not gonna be on some lesbian artist, quirky girl paradise
Here's
where
the
you
thing.
can do art
Here's the
all
thing.
day.
You could put up the cool vampire picture.
I will.
Narwhal has actually done a comic with AI art for backgrounds. And
I
Matt
actually
and
had
I
an
have been
idea.
experimenting with that.
I had an idea where we wrote like the comic with AI prompts and then made the art with AI prompts and put whatever dialogue it gave us, even the grammatically incorrect shit, as the dialogue of the
Here's-
comic book. I thought that would be fun.
Here's what I think, and I think that this is not going to be any friends. I think this is going to be an adversarial take that is
But
going
no, that's
to.
that's fucking sweet. Why are people mad about this? This is fucking awesome.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna make a take here that will not earn me friends. I think it's gonna earn me ire in the community. Goodbye career. Watch it fly away. I think that what this actually is, when you really think about it, is chickens coming home to roost. Okay. As a writer who used to want to do art, okay, I have banged my head on the glass ceiling of trying to get published for years. And one of the things that I am consistently competing against is that people cannot tell the difference between being a writer and being a typist, having penmanship, right? Because computer aided writing has spell check. So why do I need to pay a writer? What ineffable thing do they do, right? And then when dealing with indies, as you go through the business, you have this thing of they either underestimate the value of their work, so you're constantly getting undercut by novices who don't know any better, right? Or they overestimate the value of their work, so you're trying to find that sweet spot to convince people to pay you a fair wage for fair work, right? But you're competing against people who make you look bad because they're way too expensive.
So, Rune, I want to ask you a quick question. What do you think the
and-
prompt I used to get these pictures?
Angry cat.
Hold on, let me get the ticker off the screen so everybody can see this.
The reason I bring this up as we're scrolling through images here is for the longest time when my associate in Ireland and I were trying to make a webcomic, we had a hell of a time with artists in the indie sphere because they came in it like, you need my skills more than I need you.
Yeah.
So whatever prices I set are my prices. Whatever bullshit I go through, however long it takes me, you just wait. You just sit on your fucking hands and wait, because that's how I work. Right? It was seen as unfair to have deadlines and expectations of progress, and that the progress would be good and that the produce would meet standards. Right? Because the artists were artists. They knew they had a talent you couldn't replicate, that you needed to pay them for, and they felt that they could do no wrong.
And now guess what, fuckers?
Right.
I can tell
exactly.
I can tell a goddamn computer to give me
now
Samuel Jackson as a cat.
Now, is that Sam Jackson as a cat?
No, that's not. So that is Garfield as done by Albrecht Dürer.
That's amazing. He still wants his lasagna. I really do. I actually really do like this one on the bottom left.
What was that, Church?
I have another counterpoint.
Okay.
The reference Rune just made of, oh well, my skills are irreplaceable. You have to do everything on my standards because I'm the talent, says the artist. Then they discovered there were artists in South America.
Yeah.
And the Philippines. And India.
We did. That's literally what we did. We found a guy
And East Asia.
We found a guy in Southeast Asia who not only could we pay a reasonable rate, right? But I'm not kidding. He was fucking grateful. We paid for his wedding. We allowed him to live in his country and do art.
Right.
would,
Matt, that's offensive. Larry is Jewish.
No,
that's not offensive.
I would love to theoretically pay, someone else. I would pay a European or an American if I could be assured they do the work.
Happy Christmas, Matt.
Happy Christmas, Matt. So,
actually, Church, I'm sorry to pause it. I could get you on a podcast for Christmas if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to.
Is it a Jack Daniels podcast?
You think so?
No. No, it is weaponized sadness.
I don't drink Jack Daniels. That's just disgusting.
My
Gentleman Jack's not bad.
My,
it would have to be the Friday before those Saturdays.
no, I get it, but my boys
I
are
don't
gonna
like
be
charcoal.
my boys are gonna be doing their Christmas. Some of them with their families.
Go on.
And this will be the first Christmas. I got no family for Christmas. I will, in fact, be alone for Christmas, like I wasn't for Thanksgiving. So I will be available for anything.
You could pull that card.
But I'm not going to.
You could pull
That would
card.
fucking suck.
Don't. Please don't. That would be so rude.
I'm not going to do that. No, I want. That's the thing. I'm the other way
I'll
around.
call and chat with you, but
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
don't make
I'm
me
the
deal
other
with
way
these
around.
other two assholes.
What I want is I want church to go have Christmas with church's little kids and them to have a wonderful time, and you tell me about it later. That's what I want.
Well, these spoiled little assholes are gonna have a great Christmas this year. It's
Oh,
gonna
you
be
know
awesome.
You know it. They're gonna make out like bandits.
So, do we want to start with the Harry
Oh,
and
yeah.
Meghan part of racism time, or do we want to start with the Avatar part of racism time?
Can we start with the Avatar part of racism
Let's,
time? Because that's actually what I haven't heard about. I have only heard that Avatar Book of Water is boring. To which I say, no shit!
So,
I've
I'm
heard that
actually
it's not gonna break even.
Of course not.
So let me tell you, since I do have an inside source, so long as it doesn't lose too much money, what James Cameron's going to do is he's going to lease his CGI technology, which has things in it that's better than what Disney has, to make up for any losses. So they'll say
that's what this bullshit was always about. Was James Cameron making money being industrial light and magic like George Lucas? This had nothing to do with making movies.
So
Never
let me start with the positive parts about it. And this is going to be different unless you guys peel out a spoiler review out of me as I'm talking about it.
Oh, I'm
Because I don't
going
want-
to.
You're probably going to. So let me talk about the good part about it. So the whole story turns around the Sully family. And they're going through some stuff. And the former colonel, who's been brought back in a Na'vi body to be the villain. And he has other
Hold on
family.
one sec.
Mhm.
Okay.
And he has his own familial issues. And the whole plot is all about family. Because to quote Kathleen Kennedy,
Wait.
that's what makes it so powerful.
Wait, this is a
Wait a
Fast and the Furious knockoff?
Wait a minute. Ayrton,
Yeah.
if you aim at the modem through your own skull, do you think the bullet will travel and hit me in the head too?
Well, I'm hardwired.
If it
in,
doesn't, I got
so-
you.
Okay.
So the part where the family was where you were supposed to care about the family, all of that worked really well. It was really manipulative storytelling, but it was manipulative in a good way. So, no, this worked, but it was clearly manipulative. So you walk out saying, oh yeah, that family's story was believable and relatable. Story of the kids going to a new town, having to go to a new school, getting bullied by other kids. All relatable, all believable, all worked. Also, it's kind of manipulative. But I mean, most of the James Cameron stories are manipulative.
Hard work.
Yep, they're manipulative stories. So Sigourney Weaver was de-aged to play a teenage Na'vi in this movie. And that was one of the things...
Did everyone fucking transition to robo bodies? Is that the message? Did
No.
everyone just abandon
Well, let me
fucking
rephrase that. Let me rephrase that.
blasphemy.
Let me rephrase that.
You saw the blasphemy they did with CGIing the Rock down to toddler size.
So let me hold up here though. A lot of the times you de-age somebody with CGI, it doesn't work, but this did work. They also de-aged her voice too. But
Does she
Na'vi
sound like a Japanese waifu?
No, she sounds like a teenage girl.
Why didn't they just like? Why didn't
Get
they
a
just
different
cast
actress?
a teenage girl that kind of looked like
All
Sigourney
right.
Weaver?
All right, hold up. So you guys are telling me that I have to do a spoiler review so that you get to hear the plot of the movie without going to see the movie. Is that what you're telling me right now that I have to do?
Larry, I don't
Yes.
own a gun with which to kill myself. This isn't fair because I'll have to listen to the fucking review.
So, okay. So the movie opens with Jake Sully getting his family and having a normal life.
Wait a minute. Ayrton, you should change racism time to spoiler time so idiots who are still watching this 40 minutes in who don't know us should know that this is going to be spoilerific.
Nope. I don't care.
You just told him.
So,
Okay.
So anyway, Jake Sully gets his family. You know, he was the big damn hero, kicked the humans off the planet, had a son, another son, had to adopt the daughter from Sigourney Weaver's Avatar body that somehow got pregnant. Now I know what you're going to ask me. Well, Larry, did they ever explain how it got pregnant? No, it's an immaculate conception baby, which will be important later in the story. Then they have another kid.
I believe the approved.
I broke him.
Yep. And they have a little feral goblin child that is human. And the feral human child plays with the Na'vi and is grown up basically like as a Na'vi person. And everything's great and all that, and then the humans arrive. And it is literally the Fire Nation attack because the humans destroy a large section of the forest with the landing of their spaceships.
Again?
No, we didn't see them destroying the forest last time with landing their spaceships. In fact, they landed safely.
Well,
so the humans have somehow
destroying the forest bit.
Right, no, but they didn't destroy the forest in a productive way. They just burned the shit out of it and exploded the shit out of the forest.
Yeah, because that's what you do.
But as they're
still failing to answer the questions of why we don't actually use our technology to do this right, which would be to see the upper atmosphere with poison.
Hold up, Brune. Things are going to get much stupider. Things are going to get much, much stupider.
Okay.
Holy shit, guys! Atomic Denny's back on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
His
Denny's
original account got reinstated.
Yeah.
So the humans start, bringing their technology, building builder robots to build stuff with, and then we see the Colonel and a bunch of people waking up in Na'vi bodies and getting an exposition dump explaining, so we're just about to go attack that bastard Jake Sully, but if you're woken up, that means we're dead and things are fucked. So we decided to put our military training in Na'vi bodies to come here and murder the Na'vi. And then Jake and his people are fighting, the humans with an insurgent guerrilla warfare, stealing guns, as you do. We learn a little bit about his kids there. He's got one kid who's the good son, who's the really good, loyal, disciplined soldier, and the other one who's an asshole. And we learned that Sigourney Weaver's character is the autismo magic user who's just learning the fact that magic exists on this planet. But we'll learn more about that later when she uses magic for the final climactic battle on the planet. And I know it's not technically magic, it's that she's mind controlling the planet to do what she wants. But I mean, isn't mind controlling the planet to do what you want magic?
Is she sticking her head penis into the planet?
Not anymore. She figured out how to do it without sticking her head penis into the planet.
Aha.
So
I just like to remind people that your penis is your hair in this movie.
Yes.
The Blue Man Group for a job interview the other week.
That's unfortunate because my hair is like 4 times as long as my penis.
So we're gonna go to the Blue Man Group, which is what I'm gonna call the Marines.
Your
in
hair is
Na'vi
longer
bodies.
than 3 inches, Ayrton.
And the Blue Man Group go to meet the new general who's running the operation on the planet. And this is progressive, guys, because the general who's running the planet to exterminate an alien race is a woman.
Oh, so
we did it, guys.
So it's fine then.
Exactly.
Where's the conflict?
And she says, "Listen, we got to take over this planet because Earth is dying. So, and we got to pacify the civilian population."
Fuck you, Matt. But yes, I did get a haircut like 6 months ago.
So now we're going to pause for a moment and explain why that's stupid. So, with their ships coming to Pandora, their ships use what is clearly fusion reactor-based technology using a solar sails to laser launch system, which means that they could just go to any meteor in our solar system. There's a bunch of them, and just hollow it out, make a hab, and grow food, and do industry, and not go to a planet where everything's going to try to kill you. So why are they going to a planet? Well, wait. We're going to get to that. So why go to a planet where everything's going to try to kill you? Don't know. And this is going to get stupider later. So once the Blue Man Group comes into play, Jake Sully's guerrilla tactics gets messed up because they're going after his kids. And Jake says to Neytiri, "Hey, listen, like he's going to come here and murder everybody. The only way we can protect our people is to run away." And Neytiri's like, "I'm not sure that's how that works." And he's like, "Trust me, this is totally how this works." And so he gets officially fired from his tribe. They go through a formal ritual and everything. And the feral white boy, who, spoiler, is the colonel's son, gets kidnapped by the Blue Man Group. And the Blue Man Group starts to use him as a mascot / translator. And this is all part of trying to get him to become an asset that they could use against Jake Sully, because it's a good military unit. But the colonel in the Avatar body is like going,
did I zone out and stop paying attention for a minute? Because I'm so lost.
No, you have everything.
Nothing's actually happened yet, Ayrton. Nothing's actually happened yet.
I just want to bring up two things real quick. One, Church is going to go grab a smoke while we talk about Ferngully SeaWorld 2 Electric Boogaloo. But
nothing's actually happened yet, Ayrton.
But as an aside to this, I just want to point out that actually what you've just described as being dumb as shit in the movie is actually also dumb as shit in real life. Because I actually saw an article. I shared it with my friend in Germany who's a geologist. Because I know people. Some of them are actual, people with lives.
Yeah.
U.S. scientists have actually produced a nuclear fusion reaction with a net energy gain. We're not up to commercial use yet, but holy shit, in our lifetime, nuclear fucking fusion. We're going to get there.
Actually, the private nuclear companies
think that even nuclear fission's more effective than any other quote-unquote green energy.
Yeah, but fusion actually has less waste.
Fission has barely any waste already.
And fusion has even less than that on an order of magnitude.
The issue with fission is not just the potential wastes, which are real, right? But it's if you lose containment, you get a Chernobyl.
Yeah, but when was the last time that actually happened? And do you know what actually caused? Fukushima was caused by the tsunami hitting because they built it in a retarded place. What actually caused Chernobyl was the Russian government knew that the reactor was fucked up and refused to fix it and put in better safeguards.
Right,
and that's what caused it to melt down.
And we had 3 Mile Island. The important point is that fission has some dangers to it that fusion doesn't.
Yeah, but it's also been 50 years, 40 years since.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. I'm just saying, like, fission is a step on the way to fusion. Fusion, if we actually get it working, is actual, not green energy. Fuck that. No, it's actual free energy. That won't be free because nobody will actually get to get it for free. They'll totally charge us for it.
So let me get back to.
There's plenty of labor involved. I'm fine with paying.
So let's get back to the dumb story.
Yeah,
because the scientists are also going to try to murder the child with a brain.
Larry, I just want to point out we just had a 3-minute conversation about actual science because reality was smarter than this movie.
Yes. Also, when they have the feral child, they're trying to torture him by forcibly copying his brain. to find information, so they can digitally render someone's brain, which will become important later when we learn something stupider. So Jake Sully and his family go to meet the reef people.
You know, this is a pretty good cigar for $9.
Exactly. And we're about to get to the point where I said, "Oh, this is a perfect time for me to go pee." So Jake Sully and his family go to meet the reef people, who are basically the Maori, but they got like kind of Maori Maui that are intermixed with like seals and walruses kind of looking. They got like walrusy arm flaps, and they got kind of like a seal's tail.
All right, hold on. I need to pull up a pic. How do I find a picture of this?
Look up Sea Navi. You should be able to find it. But please, for the love of God, make sure you turn on the safe search. Also, they don't have the tail penises. They only have the hair penises. Because their tails are used as an actual swimming implement.
What the fuck am I? What?
So while they're doing this training montage, the Colonel and the Blue Man group want to learn how to fight like a Na'vi, think like a Na'vi, and do Na'vi experiences. So they go to hijack a bunch of the Na'vi animals, which totally works. Now,
how fast do you think we'd be copywritten?
Very.
If I put on a Blue Man Group song in the background while we did this.
Very.
Real quick. You guys don't use your penises to help you swim?
Just to
Okay,
well, we don't have tail penises, church.
Look, as a cripple man, I don't like to describe how it is that I walk, but yeah, I might be a tripod.
But
I could not find any image of the sea people. Oh wait, there's one. Okay.
But yeah, so they go through their learning montage, and the villains go through.
Is this supposed to be his groundbreaking CGI? This looks terrible.
No, it looks better than the last Avatar, which looks better than the average CGI of the Marvel movie.
The last Avatar didn't look that good either.
Right, but it looks better than a Marvel movie does right now.
Yeah, but not better than a Marvel movie 10 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's be clear. That's not an accomplishment when Disney keeps pulling the purse strings and reducing the quality.
To be fair, the Avatar movie was kind of butt fucked by the fact that everybody had just recently gotten 1080p and 4K screens. It would have been fine on regular televisions.
So
Indiana Jones 4 was a better movie than the first Avatar.
Yes, but
let's not go crazy here when we're comparing shit and shit, Ayrton.
Yeah, let me get you.
There were crystal skulls and aliens and shit. All right, it was way better.
Yeah, but let me get you back to the spoiler review.
So that should be highlighted.
Exactly. So let me get back to the spoiler review here. So, the bad guys hijack some of the animals, and all of life on Pandora is part of a networked intelligence. So all the creatures are all connected, and they all share access to the same collective mind. So why did the planet let the bad guys ride flying lizard monsters?
Wait, which people are the bad guys now?
The Blue Man Group.
Blue Man Group.
Okay.
So why did the planet let them do that? We don't know the answer to that. Now I'm sure James Cameron has an answer that he didn't put in the movie because he didn't think it was important.
No, he fucking doesn't. He's a fucking liar. Let's start there.
He actually allegedly wrote an 800-page book about the backstory of the Na'vi and everything.
No,
which was probably fueled by cocaine.
Has James what's a good movie that James Cameron has made?
Terminator 2, True
That
Lies.
was him.
Right.
I never saw True Lies.
Everything with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
No, let's be 100% clear here. James Cameron didn't make Terminator. James Cameron co-opted several ideas and put them together into a pot to mix up Terminator, lifted from Harlan Ellison, to the extent that a litigious fuckface named Harlan Ellison could sue him about it. because Harlan
hold up.
Ellison was a fuckface.
But hold up.
Mhm.
In fairness, James Cameron was a production designer, so he came up with designs for the robot and shit.
Which
So
he then
he-
lied about and said, I had a dream. He had a dream of a skeleton that was metal. Ooh ah.
Anyway, so let me get back to the spoiler review. So then the Blue Man Group hooks back up with the general, who says, "Hey, because the Sigourney Weaver character had a seizure because she hooked up to the planet and talked to herself, but was actually the avatar of the planet talking to her. But we'll get back to that later. She had a seizure, and that's bad. That's what the scientists said. But the Na'vi tribal medicine said, nah, bro. We totally cure it with, breathing on it and poking it with pins. It's fine.
Put mud on it.
Put mud on it. It's fine. It's fine." And that allowed the bad guys to know where the sea people were. So they got on super advanced whaling ships. Now, why are they doing whaling on an industrial scale on the planet Pandora, you may ask? Well, the whales have something I'm going to call, we're about an hour in, so YouTube won't care, whale jizz that gives people immortality. So it's immortality jizz.
That was
It's in
my
their
nickname
brains.
in high school.
So let's start with some questions about the
We're
immortality
knocking off
jizz.
Harry Potter and unicorn blood now.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with a question about the immortality jizz for a moment. We showed in the beginning of the movie that you can make a clone body and you can upload people's entire consciousnesses into the clone body, right? So why do you need an immortality jizz?
I mean, I just want to say I really enjoyed Dishonored.
Mhm.
Which
But no,
also
seriously,
hinged on whale jizz.
Look, Larry, I hate to do this to you, but I got to Neil deGrasse Tyson you. Creating a clone body is very expensive. Jerking off a whale is free.
no, this wasn't jerking off a whale. This is murdering a whale. Hold up. This is murdering a whale and drilling a hole into its skull so you can get the whale jizz out of its brain.
Well, wait a minute. It's a whale. Isn't there already a hole?
You know, if you
No,
if you jerk off the whale, you don't have to kill it. It gives you more than one dose of jizz.
Well, no. To get to the jizz, you have to go into the soft palate to get to its brain.
Yeah, that's
So that's
typically
how
how
you
you
get
do it.
Yeah, that's typically how you find the jizz in most men. Yeah, it's one of those two heads. I don't know which one. Probably
Now-
the bigger one.
Now, a bottle of the whale jizz goes for $86 million.
That's it.
That's it. And they're financing the reconquest of Pandora by harvesting the whale jizz to scale.
Fuck, that's only 43 million $2 hand jobs.
So again, you can make godlike clone
Now I know
bodies.
how Elon got his hair back.
But no, seriously, we can make godlike clone bodies for people, and we can make something that has our life on it, our animals and shit, and our plants, and things that aren't toxic to us. But instead, we're going to go to the Alpha Centauri system and go to a moon around a gas giant in the Alpha Centauri A and fight off plants and animals that are toxic to us and extremely violent.
Okay, well, see, this is where this movie falls apart in relation to its predecessor because, oh, wait, I seem to recall the major plot point was the reason we were coming here was that we needed unobtainium for our ship fuel because, we need to do...
Oh, no, they never explained. They never explained it was for ship fuel.
Right, but here's the thing. No, I do specifically recall that. It may have been in peripheral material, but the point is we need the unobtainium, and we need it very
Unobtainium-
badly.
Yeah,
Right.
unobtainium was a room temperature superconductor.
Right.
That was something they had.
So just so we're clear, we went for the unobtainium. The Native Americans kicked our ass so hard we lost everything, and the answer from the company that's not Wayland Yutani, we swear, but it's
Oh, no, it's not the
Wayland
company
Yutani.
anymore. It's not the company anymore. It's the government.
Right. because those are two different things. Honest, we swear. Is we're going to follow bad money with more bad money for an entirely different resource that we need to risk everything to go get.
Now,
Wait a minute.
Now remember,
am I agreeing with Rune more than Larry on this particular argument?
well, no.
happening
We're
now?
not having an argument here. We're not having an argument. This is stupid. All of this is stupid. But let me then go to the next level of stupid.
This
Why
isn't
do
how
you
any
need-
of this works. Any of this at all.
This
Now
is
we
so
go to the next
stupid.
level
I
of
forgot.
stupid.
become a Navi. That's what I want to know.
Now we go.
It's so
now we-
stupid. I forgot to puff on my cigar and it went out.
Hold up. So now we go
Wow.
to the next part of the stupid. Why do we need industrial scale immortality for humans? Because we can, number one, we can make them with perfect godlike avatar bodies for around the same amount of money, by the way, is harvesting one whale for whale jizz. But we can also put them in suspended animation. So again, why do we need the whale jizz at scale?
What if you suspend them in the whale jizz? Is that like double immortality?
No, because what the suspended animation does is it just stops everything temporarily. The whale jizz stops it permanently, but you're also awake. So none of this makes sense. And further, the tactics they use to fight the Na'vi when they lure the Na'vi in by murdering the whales are the same tactics they used the last time. Now,
I
This take-
think this is when I'm gonna take a piss break.
now, there's been about 16 years between the initial battle and their returning to the planet. They've not adapted tactics, they've not developed new weapons, and the Na'vi haven't adapted tactics and they haven't developed new weapons. Jake Sully's people haven't been preparing every day for the return of the Sky People. They haven't been talking to other tribes, other tribal chieftains about saying, like, hey, how's your preparations for what happened to the Sky People are here? Okay. Well, we need to go talk to the Volcano Na'vi and make sure that they're trained and ready. They weren't able to come for the battle, but they need to know like about the Sky People tactics and shit, right? Why were none of these things happening?
I just want to tell you, the more you talk, the more I realize that How to Train Your Dragon is a better franchise than Avatar.
It is. And it's also about family. It's also about family, and that's also what makes it powerful. So,
Well, Vin Diesel does voice all the dragons in How to Train Your Dragon. So,
exactly.
Of course,
Look,
it's
can
about
we
family.
can we just have Vin Diesel show up in an Avatar film and say we are Groot?
So there is a subplot where the youngest son of Jake Sully becomes spirit brothers with an outcast from the whales because the whales think he murdered people, but he didn't murder people. It was the evil
We're
humans that
still
did the
talking about
murdering.
whales.
Yes, because the whales are all tied into the climax of the movie, which is they kill a bunch of whales.
I thought the whales already climaxed for the movie.
No.
Oh.
We're talking about the climax of the movie involves the whales, not the whale
No.
climax.
When you think about it, the Blue Man Group is actually coming to this planet to molest the whales.
Well, no. They're molesting the whales to get to Jake Sully and his family.
Yeah.
And so
I almost spit
they
out my drink. Holy fuck!
they have a big fight. All the humans get their ass killed. The Blue Man Group has a final fight with Jake Sully and the family. All the Blue Man Group dies except for the Colonel. And then the Colonel and Jake Sully have a cool fight sequence. And during part of the fights between the humans and the Blue Man Group and Jake Sully's family, Sigourney Weaver just uses the Avatar state. And I'm going to say the Avatar state because it's kind of like what happens. It makes all the sea plants murder people.
So just the ocean.
Yeah, so she's just like in the ocean. She starts glowing, and the sea
Would you-
anemones and the coral and the plants all just start murdering people.
Blood ocean.
Exactly. And later in the movie, when her family is drowning in the boat as it's sinking, she commands the ocean to help her find her family.
So is the mid-credit scene just Vin Diesel driving a bitchin' Ford Mustang talking about family?
No. Because we're
Wasted
almost
opportunity.
done. We're almost done. So Jake Sully's oldest kid dies because because he had to help save his sisters because the younger brother was kind of a dumbass and let the sisters get captured and split up from everybody. And Jake Sully's son comes back to save his dad, so the dad and the son have a good bonding moment. The feral human kid saves the clone version of his dad because it's his dad, even though it's in a clone body. And then Jake Sully buries his dead son with the ancestors of the sea people, and he becomes a sea person. So he goes from
Hey,
being
Matt,
a forest person.
Just don't let one of your copies clone themselves, because you know a copy of a copy is never quite as sharp as the original.
You know,
And,
I just want to point out
and-
that film addresses cloning in a really intelligent, fun way, and I love
Yeah.
that at the end the three guys from a nowhere pizza place. I am sad we don't live in a world that exists.
And the ending of the movie was Jake Sully realizing, I gotta fuck up the humans.
So let me get this straight. This is a coming of age story about a traitor realizing he has to continue to be a traitor to his species.
I mean, that's why this is being featured in Racism Time, yes.
That's the same that's the same ending as the last movie.
Well, no. He becomes a traitor, but then he realizes that the only way to protect his family is to go to war again. So it's about a soldier who doesn't want to go to war, who just wants to keep his family safe, but he realizes he's got to go fight to save his family. And the humans go from a corporation that just wants to mine some minerals to full-on Captain Planet villains of, let's just tear down everything on the planet, terraform it, and also kill all the
while you're
whales.
private it, he can't see that response, right, Ayrton?
That's okay.
Now, I do also want to point out something that bothers me intensely. So humans can't breathe the Navi atmosphere. And there are two popular theories. One theory has been confirmed. There's a second potential theory that there's a whole lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So do you know what happens to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere when it interacts with water? The water takes some of that carbon dioxide into it, which means that the water goes from a more neutral state to a more acidic state. So at no point is the water acidic to the human body, or to the Navi, or to any of the stuff.
Does it turn into pee?
It does not turn into pee. So the movie focused on the Sully family, which was compelling yet emotionally manipulative, and it worked. It focused on the Colonel trying to become a good father to his son that he kind of abandoned because he died, which worked. Colonel wanted to murder Jake Sully because he's a traitor. That worked. Jake Sully wanted to murder the Colonel because it was the only way to protect his family. That worked. All of that was good. Everything else was garbage. And especially, things make even less sense now than they did in the first movie. And I expect the third movie, which is going to come out, things are going to make even less sense than in the first and second movies. Now, I also want to mention an important fact. Pandora is on the nearest star to Earth. And all of these creatures are very easily interactable with our genome. So that means that whoever designed the Navi and designed the ecosystem of the Navi also designed humans
Larry,
and our ecosystem.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about in setting. I was going to point out that supposedly, if we believe him, and I don't, James Cameron wrote all this when he was 15, and this has been in his back pocket in a drawer for decades.
I mean, James Cameron is a professional liar when it comes to promoting his films.
Which means that, logically, he's the one who said, you know what, it'd be really cool if the Navi had some mechanism for plugging into the planet, and why not make that their hair and make that their
sex organ.
that process. Well, no, the sex organ is actually their tail, which is even dumber, because anybody who has
a sea Navi.
But
for the sea Navi, it's just their hair.
Yeah, but I just want to bring this up. Anyone with a passing knowledge of biology, right, realizes that while science and biology can be wonderfully creative, The reason that humanoids are structured the way they are is to protect our sex organs. The Na'vi should not be able to survive on their planet because their birth rate should be pathetically fucking low.
Also,
due to losses,
I want to point
as
out.
people get
I
their
want to
tails
point
cut
out
off.
that. I want to point out that the tail being the sex organ does make sense that he wrote this at 15 when getting some tail was all you were thinking about.
during the combat sequences with the Na'vi, pulling on the tails was a common go-to move.
Right. So ripping off somebody's tail is how you do it, and that means that these people do not then breed.
Oh, also the Blue Man Group was wanting to scalp Na'vi.
Hold the fucking phones. Did these motherfuckers knock off Dragon Ball Z too?
I mean,
Surprised
kinda.
me.
But yeah,
During the Saiyan saga, grabbing the tail was the move.
yeah. Also, going back to the original Avatar, the Na'vi understand advanced technology. And when the humans offered them more advanced technology, they said no. They understand, advanced customs like schools and educational facilities and medicine, and they told the humans to go fuck themselves. And the planet's all an interconnected AI. This is why, if you look at the first Avatar movie as a Gnostic parable, it's about the devil winning.
Well, Larry, if Star Trek has taught us anything, it's that being space Amish is okay because you have the ability to do hacky sack, and that makes you an enlightened human being.
Also, those space Amish also had secret immortality jizz, remember?
Right. Exactly.
That was the thing that was in a Star Trek movie. Captain Picard went crazy to get secret immortality jizz from a chick. That was the thing that happened in the Star Trek movie. So, are we ready?
I mean, that should be the name of today's episode: is Secret Immortality Jizz.
Captain Picard went crazy to get immortality from immortality jizz from a chick. He went crazy to get immortality from a robot bitch. I mean, Captain Picard was pretty horny.
He went crazy when he got cloned. And the thing is that as crazy as all that is, he's still less insane than Janeway, so that's okay.
Also, if anybody ever wants to buy Church a gift for any reason, he is ghastly looking for a Lokitas of the Borg Funko Pop for his collection.
Huh.
The Captain Picard Borg Funko. It was
a
GameStop exclusive that I just didn't buy because I was an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not one of these pricks that buys every Funko Pop he sees. I've got let me count, 6, 12, 15 total that I own.
I'll ask some friends of mine who are pricks who buy every Funko Pop they see if they have an extra.
All right, do that, and I'll gladly send some shekels for it.
So, are we ready to go deeper into racism time?
Always.
So I watched, because my mom is a woman of a certain age, the Harry and Meghan Markle documentary, which was meant...
Is this the one where they claim that they were, quote, better at the job, whatever the job was, that no one quite seems to be able to figure out what is?
So they kind of sort of claim that, but they don't. Everything's super duper vague. So let me paint a picture for you first so you can understand what I'm going to be talking about. So Harry and Meghan came to the United States after they left what they refer to and what people who are really big nerds about the royal family, the firm, and they were given hundreds of millions of dollars to produce content, which they didn't do. And then they produced some content for Netflix, which one of them was accepted, which was a documentary about the Invictus Games. Meghan's thing was canceled, and they said, listen, we need a payday. So we need you to make this documentary that you were supposed to do that explained why you left the royal family. And then they brought in another company that made the footage they filmed into the documentary that everybody who watched it saw. So the question that nags me, and it will nag you when I tell you this story, is did this documentarian make them seem more human or make it spicy and racism time? Or was it both? So they explain how they first met. And by explaining how they first met, they don't talk about the person who did it. Because the person who did it was a fashion executive who was a childhood friend of Harry's, who knew Meghan because she was a celebrity who was wearing higher end fashion stuff and was part of the London social scene. Meghan's version of the story is, oh, I was having a girls' vacation to Europe with all my girlfriends. We were going to spend 3 months in Europe. Then somebody, we're not going to say who, introduced me to Prince Harry on Instagram. And the first thing I did was I checked out his Instagram feed to see what I could see. And I saw he was a deep, meaningful soul that had lots of really insightful feelings.
Did this gentleman's name go by the sobriquet of Epstein?
No. That's the uncle. That's the uncle.
Okay.
But no. This is somebody who works for Ralph Lauren, who is a childhood friend of Harry's. And then they go on their first date, and Prince Harry is late for their first date because London's a city with traffic, and he's embarrassed by it. He is still embarrassed to this day, and he's married and 2 kids into this relationship. He still feels bad about being late. Their second date,
that's almost nice.
She was late 15 minutes, and he was like, no, it's okay, babe. I know it wasn't on purpose. Now, Church, Ayrton, if you were late on a chick on a first date and she showed up 15 minutes late on the second date, it's on purpose, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Church, do you concur with Ayrton?
It's absolutely a power move.
So in the opening of this thing, she demonstrates, I'm extremely manipulative and controlling in relationships, and Harry demonstrates a lack of an ability to perceive that.
It tells me that she's a petty bitch.
Oh, Commander Classified, we're going to be getting into their adventuring canon and some other problems, but I'm opening here with their opening of telling their love story was, she was manipulative and petty. And I'm not going to call her out on it because I legitimately feel bad about being late on her because I'm a good person. And she talks about going to his charity farm in Lesotho, where he does charity in the jungle with jungle people and is quiet about it. And she talks about meeting the Queen, and she said, "Well, we Americans, we don't know about that stuff unless we go to like medieval times restaurants."
Larry, we call them Africans, not jungle people. That's not politically correct.
Well, no, these are people in the jungle. This wasn't charity for just all the Africans; it was specifically for people who are in the jungle.
Oh, okay.
I was referring to that specifically because his charity plantation is jungle adjacent.
I believe they're called Jungalians.
and so
Rune, we're going in. We're gonna get a deserted jungle island and start our own tribe and call ourselves the Jungarians.
So Meghan does an overly exaggerated bow, and Harry looks at her like, "Bitch, what are you doing?" He doesn't say it, but he gives her that look. And that's the second thing that I took away from the beginning of this thing, is that this woman is extremely phony.
Wait a minute. You mean Prince Harry looks at her and says, "Bitch, are you for real?"
He doesn't say it.
Bitch, are you for real?
He doesn't say it, but he's giving her the look when she's not paying attention to him.
Man, I didn't know he was a Petey Wheatstraw fan.
But so not only is she manipulative, he's demonstrated clear simp-like behavior.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he's a little bitch.
She also says it's not like, in the Princess Diaries where somebody tells you how to be a princess, tee-hee, which is a lie. But also, she's expressing, I'm an American and I don't know things. And I'm proud to not know things. Like, I didn't know the British national anthem until I Googled it.
Oh, God.
Even though, she has British people in her family.
Oh, gotta attack the Queen. Send big dogs after her to bite her bum.
Yep, that's one version of it. So the racism part gets weaved into this first half of the documentary. And then it gets lightly sprinkled in the second half of the documentary. But the funny thing about the racism they show in the first half of the documentary,
So, ladies and
Go
gentlemen,
ahead.
when making your racism, remember to lightly sprinkle it and weave it in, fold it into the batter. You want to make sure
No,
you
no,
don't have too much racism time in any one place. You want to make sure the racism is evenly distributed before
You
you
don't
put
want
it in the
you
oven.
don't want air pockets.
It needs to be evenly distributed if your narrative is the problem is everybody was racist to me. And the evidence that she shows of the British media being racist, she doesn't show it with the context of time, which is one problem, which is again connects to her demonstrating of manipulative behaviors. Number two, the evidence she shows is stuff produced by the British media for consumption by American audiences. But she acts like it was by the British media for consumption of British audiences. So she's wanting you to think that the British media were saying, man, that biracial princess is a real B word, isn't she? Now,
I mean, yeah, she is.
and then the second half of the series focuses on their war with the media and the actual substantive issues she had. And that was where the light bulb went off in my head and I figured out the actual story. So they go to sue the media because she wrote a letter to her dad because her dad, got involved with some shenanigans with the tabloids. They took some pictures of him that they planned to use to make some tabloid stories seem more legitimate. And that letter gets stolen. And Harry is like, bruh, my wife's letter got stolen by the press. This is a crime. But if the police aren't going to prosecute her, it's also a civil infraction and we can sue her to make money. Now, Church, I'm going to ask you first. Why did the royal family say you shouldn't do that?
I think Church is away from.
How about you, Ayrton? I'm going to you first. You guys first, because I think Joe will probably know the correct answer.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, Joe, why did the royal family tell them this was not a good idea?
It is preferable to avoid controversy for the royal family.
Well, that's part of it, but let's go with a more significant thing.
My guess would be is they weren't closely related enough to be married.
Well, no, they were married, and their family trees get weird. So the reason is the British royal family is technically
German
and actually members of the British government, and the British government technically works for them. So having people who inherit being in the British government suing people who are part of the civic institution that protects the democratic aspects of the British government, it's bad optics at a minimum. It's bad optics at a minimum. It might also be a problem for the royal family. But Harry then goes, well, I'm going to sue them anyway. And then the media starts saying all sorts of nasty things about her, of which most of it is not racism. And she doesn't talk about most of it. She talked about the racism stuff in the beginning. But her narrative about racism, both personal and national for Britain, is weird. So her personal stories of racism is she grew up as a biracial child. But to say she's biracial doesn't go into the full depth and nuance of that. So in certain parts of the South, there was a racial caste system. And people who were mixed race in the South were different than black people, even though they were all ethnically of the same cultural milieu.
That's a thing in the North too, at least around here in Detroit.
That's because those people emigrated from the South to move to Detroit.
The South gets a stink eye for it, not because they deserve it, but because it is a historical anecdote as well. Well, they have those octoroons and all that quadrants. Yeah, but we didn't invent that. The French fucking invented that. That's New Orleans.
You can tell by listening to the words. So her family had a complicated racial history, but growing up as a child, her stories about the racism she encountered were other people around me were being racist to my mom. And I was like a second or third party to the racism. And in her professional career, she spent most of her career when she wasn't really that successful, saying she was white. And when she finally started to get some traction, she started to tell that she was biracial. So she's got some complicated feelings about her own racism, but she doesn't actually say, this person was racist to me when I was a princess. Says there are these racist things that happen and are tangentially related to me, and they're also related to the fact that, the British government brought in a lot of black people to live and work in London when they started to develop the welfare state because they needed cheap labor. So they talk in very vague, nebulous terms about, the British system's kind of racist when you think about it. The Queen rules over some black people in the Commonwealth. But we're going to talk about the part where the Queen views it as part of her job to fight for them and make it look like she's still a dominating imperialist overlord figure, which is totally a cool thing to do, by the way, about your dead grandma. Totally a cool thing to do. And also they splice in the fact that, hey, Harry and Meghan went to a memorial for somebody who was killed in a race riot in London, which further complicates their attempt to say that the British media and the royal family by proxy, though they don't point a finger at the royal family, were being racist towards Meghan because the royal family was using her biracial status to intersect with racial issues in a way that's positive for the royal family. So this gets into the real story. So the real story starts way before Harry met Meghan, way before William met Kate. Both of them
I think
were...
Avatar 2 is a more compelling story.
So the royal family was kind of a mess. Prince Charles was shacked up with his girlfriend, who's divorced from her husband. He was about to get married to her. William and Harry were, rich douchebag kids. And the British media and royal family came up with a plan to rehab everybody's reputation. So Harry, Charles, and William all signed off on a plan to modernize the royalty. Part of that was why Harry became such a super duper good soldier, like his grandfather, Prince Philip, was a super duper good soldier, to help create a brand identity for him. And he and Prince William were supposed to run their own charities together so that they had their own charity brand as part of the royal family's broad philanthropic umbrella. And Harry was engaged with the plan until he married Meghan, who became popular in part because of her mixed race status. And Harry felt like, well, my wife is much more valuable to the firm because she's different. We need to change the plan. And they're like, this monarchy has stood for hundreds of years. We don't just change plans on a dime. We spend years figuring out how to change our plans.
No, they changed plan for a 4. Not a dime.
Yeah. But so that is part of the problems that develop. And then Meghan goes out on a tour. She has a pregnancy and she starts to get depressed. The press being mean to her is certainly a factor on that, but also women sometimes get and develop depression during pregnancy. And Meghan was like, I want to see somebody about that. The royal family's like going, well, we don't really see people about that. And Harry was like, well, maybe we should. But because they were already combative with the press earlier, the royal family was less willing to listen to them with their reasonable demand of like, hey, maybe it would be good for the firm and for the brand image if we actually say, psychotherapy is normal. Going to see somebody about your mental problems, especially common mental problems during pregnancy, is okay. And are doing it, lifts other people up. So Harry at this point has a legitimate complaint, but he's already alienated them in part because he married Meghan and is going off the deal. And so they have another issue with a child. They have miscarriage. Miscarriages are bad, makes women with depression issues get worse. And she's like going, listen, I can't be part of this scene anymore. And Harry's like, okay, how about we go live in Canada or South Africa or New Zealand, and we work for the Queen in those other countries that she's technically like a sovereign or semi-sovereign over. And Harry, however, is an officer of the British government. And while the Commonwealth is formally fronted by the Queen as the chairman of the board, having the Queen send one of her grandkids there as a, overseer, that kind of goes more towards the whole, this is an imperialist outfit, not just like a coalition of people who are all, loyal grandchildren of John Bull. And in fact, the Commonwealth has now brought in non-British colonial people into it. And Harry wouldn't take no for an answer. And also, Harry wanted to have full governmental security when he was not serving in a full-time capacity as an agent of the British government. And he was saying, well, I can pay for that. So again, we're living in a democracy where rich, powerful citizens can get the benefits of a government official by paying for them. And he doesn't understand that that's a problem.
Isn't that how it works?
No, it's not. It's not how that works at all. And also, they pull the HR power move. Can you put this plan in writing? Well, the first time he does that, it gets leaked.
I just refilled my old fashioned for the third time in this stream, and I haven't heard a fucking thing he said about royalty.
And
I'm here, guys. I have nothing to add to this because fuck the royals. They're all bullshit.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, I mean,
we're going to
Church,
get to the fun part of the story, Church. We're going to get to the fun part of the story here soon.
I'm gonna step aside and get some coffee because I haven't had any coffee today. So I'm gonna have some coffee. You guys continue. I'll be right back. Here we go.
Right.
So the second time this happens, Harry's like, F y'all. And then Meghan goes back to Canada with the kid, and they all yell at him in a meeting because, listen, you absolute ham sandwich. We had a plan. You agreed to the plan. We all agreed to the plan. Now because you married this chick, you don't want to do the plan. And he's like, that's my wife. It's the mother of my kids. What's wrong with you? And he quits and moves to Canada, and his security is going to get stripped. Now, his security isn't going to get stripped because he's moved to Canada. It's because William and Kate have been banging out kids, so he no longer qualifies under the British government's threshold for security. Which has been
real quick, Matt. You Canadians have been cucked since day one.
Right. We're about to get to the fun part where Justin Trudeau becomes a villain in this story, and Justin Trudeau becomes a villain in this story. It's great. It's like Canada coming off the top rope to drop the elbow. He was getting less security because they were downsizing the formal royal family. He knew about this before he married Meghan. It became a super big deal because Meghan was getting special death threats because of her race.
Oh,
his claim.
It's about to get real. Justin Castro up in this bitch about to make a big deal.
So he's about to get his security downgraded immediately. That's right. Of course, the British police say that's not what happened, and then they're about to lock down all of Canada for COVID. And he's got to get his wife and kids out of there because they're fucking paparazzi popping out from under every rock, every toadstool, every flower. And how do you think they get out of Canada because they don't have any money or resources to get out of there? Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry gets them out of Canada.
Wait, fucking Medea gets them out?
In my personal headcanon version of this story, when they get to the airport, Medea's flying the plane. That's not what happened. But that's my personal headcanon version of the story.
Medea goes to flight school.
We should sell that to Tyler Perry. I know a guy who knows Tyler Perry.
Yeah, let's do it.
But Tyler Perry became pen pals with Princess Meghan and said, listen, if you ever need anything from me, I understand what you're going through because my mama went through something like this, and I'll help you. So Tyler Perry, who's a billionaire, flew up to Canada, picked them up, brought them to his spare mansion, and paid for their security footprint and everything and said, listen, you're going to stay at my spare mansion until you figure out your plan for yourself.
I'm not sure losing your food stamps really qualifies as like a royal family threat without security, Tyler.
And again, he had the money to pay for his own security, and he knew before he married Meghan, he was going to lose security. So he should have had a plan in place, but he didn't for some reason.
If they could own guns over there, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. So he spends time at Tyler Perry's house, and then his wife.
No,
the story focuses.
Hold up, Larry. Ayrton, you don't understand. Harry did have guns. He gave them away for Meghan.
Yep. He had the British military, the British police, all there to protect him, and he had the best guns. And he gave them
about his own personal arsenal too.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
And now, sorry, it's an argument that's been driving me fucking nuts for months. military grade weaponry is shit. Most civilians who are really into guns, their guns are better than military equipment. So fuck off.
So
off with that shit.
Well,
so the story.
Ayrton, I just want to mention this real quick. I have learned as of the day before yesterday, thanks to some guys named Grumpy Old Grognard, otherwise known as Ken Masters on Twitter, and another guy whose name I'll have to look up, that it doesn't matter if you're an actual expert in an area of information, because you're just wrong. Because internet experts are right.
Oh,
no matter the subject.
I forgot. My bad.
So
I have my friend in. Let me give context to this. If I'm going to call people out and tell them how bullshit they are. My friend in Germany. He's actually not in Germany. I think he's in Belgium now. Is a geologist, and among his side hustles, he's an archer. He does archery, and he brings home metal. Okay, Stephen Avery. That's the guy's name. Not my friend, the other asshole in this story. So there was a question making the rounds about whether or not arrows were sized. Like, were they specifically sized for the bows involved? Right?
Yes.
Because some bullshit DM somewhere in the world. Well, let me finish, because it's actually more complicated than that. Some bullshit GM somewhere in the world declared that you could not fire arrows that were too small for your bow in a D&D game. And there was a bit of back and forth about this. So I checked in with my friend.
You won't have as much power out of them.
Then that's the thing. I check in with my friend who, again, brings home metal in archery. Okay? Who outright has shown me videos of very up to the moment discussions going on about half draw, because there's some buzz coming out of Russia about this particular style of horseman bow archery where you don't do the full draw like the classic English draw. You do sort of a half draw, let go, and keep going.
It's similar to the Mongolian style.
And he's like, yeah, you can do it. It's a pain in the ass, but it's doable. But no, these two internet experts fucking took me to task, right? And I'm like, well, look, guys, let's be reasonable here. Obviously, there has to be some standardization, because you couldn't have facilitated large armies with bows and arrows all idiosyncratic to the archer. There had to be some standardization. And I didn't do a very deep search. I went to Wikipedia. I said, here's a casual wiki search. And I pulled up some other things. No, any sources I had are fucking wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm an ignorant piece of shit. So clearly, anytime you have actual, like, lived information that might be useful, Ayrton, from a source that isn't the approved list of sources, you're just wrong. Don't ever question.
Also, if you have a source from the approved list of sources, if it doesn't agree with them, you're still wrong.
Oh,
I have that too.
So you have no idea.
So I want to
being a weapons enthusiast.
Right. So I want to restate that Stephen Avery and Ken Marshall, not Masters, Marshall, the grumpy old grognard, know better than me. And anyone watching this who wants to go find them, go look on Twitter and ask them how they became such experts at everything, because they can fuck off.
Now, Rune, can you drag me into their arguments about archery? Because that would be entertaining.
I mean, I could. You and I could certainly get onto that off camera, but I believe Larry wants to finish his lengthy epic about royal families being bullshit.
So there's several.
This is racism time.
There's several really fake things that happen. Like when Megan says, "Oh, hey, Beyonce sent me a text message," and then the camera pans over to Harry wearing hipster glasses, being all surprised and amazed. And Beyonce says, "Slay Queen, you're totally destined to cure generational curses and some junk." That's almost a word-for-word thing. They also say that the way they were treated is totally the same thing as Brexit. They, of course, showed unironically the clip of Prince Harry at a rally in LA saying, "My wife told me this George Floyd thing is a big deal. And my wife says that Black Lives Matter, and I agree." And they also tie in the fact that sure, the America had a South in racery, but so South with slavery, but so did the British. And the British paid to free their slaves, which is worse than going to war. You know, a world civil war. We should totally have done that for slavery. And I mean, that was the realistic thing. The British government said, "Listen, we can fight all these rich assholes with slaves, but they have enough money, they can raise private armies. That would be a problem. We don't want to do that. So fine, we'll pay for your slaves for you to stop having them." Which is, a thing governments have to do because they have to live with the consequences of not having groups of their citizens murder each other. But this documentary said that was bad. This documentary also said that black people are 4% of Britain, but are 0% of the newsrooms, and that's problematic.
I don't believe that's true. I do not believe that set of arguments.
Hold the fucking phone. Hold the fucking phone. I gotta get in here. Are you telling me that like America has gun buyback programs?
The British
had slave buyback.
The British government did, and then it took them to 2015 to finish the last payment on the slaves. So it took them basically 200 years to pay off all the slaves.
So in fact, the next time some loudmouth starts talking about reparations, we can just say, "Except for England, they did it. They done."
Wait, but here's the thing: you can't go to Home Depot and build a slave out of a fucking piece of PVC pipe and a fucking nail.
Watch me.
In addition to talking about that, they also talked about, hey, we made an award for the NAACP about online hate speech about black people.
How many people sold their dogs back to the British government just to get a paycheck? He gets my paper every morning and I don't pay him.
So does this mean that I'll get money if I give the English government a potato?
No, they've already paid off all the slaves. It's too late.
Right, but
they
wait.
The Irish were free.
Slaves. We don't count. Okay.
The Irish were free. Nobody, they just gave you Irish people, and I mean that literally. Yeah. Like they would send Irish people who were in prison to go work for rich people for nothing, because they had a massive supply of Irish people in prisons.
Yeah, but remember, slavery was invented by white people for black people. Nobody else was ever enslaved ever.
I had fucking 8 more topics related to comic books and pop culture to bring up, and Larry had taken up almost an hour and 20 minutes of racism time.
I would much rather talk about comics and other things than this, but this is an internal hell into which we've been
this is actually a big.
Larry's been chomping at the bit for 2 weeks. I owed him this.
This is where we live now. This is where we live now.
So here, how about we talk about something that's pop culture related that Rune and I have been talking about, because there's a new season of Rick and Morty, and it was interesting.
If we're gonna switch topics, we're gonna go to one that I have pulled up because I was prepared for this show and I've gotten to use literally none of my material.
I was gonna ask if we're talking about royal families and planned lives, when we're gonna talk about Willow, but sure, no, let's talk about what Church has in mind. That probably is a lot better.
Well, first off, I have a joke. Rune, I didn't know that you were in an argument with fucking Green Arrow.
Pardon?
What was dude's name you were in an argument with?
The grumpy old Grognard and Stephen Avery.
Yeah, that guy. He was Green Arrow, right?
No, that's Stephen Arnell.
No. It's the same guy.
No. We wish.
But
if I was arguing with Stephen Arnell, I'd want to know about all those fiberglass titanium rods shoved into people's kneecaps, and how a lifetime of permanent disfigurement is better than death.
That's because they didn't talk to us first. We would have told them to stick it up their ass.
Right.
Hold up, Ayrton. We need to have a banner for Church's drunk to just to play out when it's appropriate on the show. We haven't really had a good drunk church moment.
This isn't a drunk church moment. I'm just tired of hearing about the fucking Royals. I've had 4 shots of alcohol.
So what's the next topic on the list?
Well, I mean, I figure we've got 8 to choose from. So I mean, we've got the Henry Cavill transcript.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Let me grab a thing. I have a thing for this.
Okay. Fuck you, Ayrton.
Larry told me to do it.
Church is toasty. He isn't drunk.
Oh,
I haven't been drinking bottled in bond.
I mean, we can always send a bottle of Malort to church.
Yeah, church won't drink that shit. I'll stick my dick in it. Might have a baby out of it.
They're better.
Excellent.
All right.
So I've got.
I mean, that fills us with the Christmas spirit.
Correct. I've got the Henry Cavill podcast transcript. I've got the Prime Video announces all-female directing team for Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power Season 2. I have Dungeons and Dragons classic cartoon returns with new miniseries. I got Don Glover introducing the Hypno Hustler, which is a Spider-Man villain I've never fucking heard of.
I got a D8. Let's do this.
Of course you fucking do.
Look, D8's delicious.
Dice says subject number 2.
Oh, a D8. Okay. Subject number 2. That's Prime Video announces Rings of Power, all-female directing team for Season 2.
So my first question is, you mean it wasn't already an all-female directing team?
It was, but, some of them had dicks, apparently.
I mean, that goes against the Cambridge Dictionary definition.
Chris Evans got me banned from Twitter once because I said, "Hey, Chris, I found you a safe space," and I attached a gift from the Suicide Booth in Futurama. Jesus Christ, I love Matt to death.
And Matt, now you guys just have suicide booths in Canada.
No, they have suicide doctor's appointments. All right. No, he said a D8, not a V8. I was excited for the tomato juice myself.
What, you're wanting to make a screwdriver?
No, that's orange juice. V8's a Bloody Mary. V8 and hot sauce, vodka. Get with the program, you fucking non-drunk. Amazon Studios and Prime Video announced an all-female directing team for the upcoming second season of Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power. In a press release, Amazon Studio announced that Charlotte Brandstrom would return to the show alongside Sana Hamri. I think they're just fucking with us with these names at this point. This bitch's name was Samantha at one point. She was like, no, just 3 A's, an N, and an S. Just arrange them however you want to.
I remember a time many moons ago when I was young and the world was new, where you'd have a blonde from California who'd be like, "My name is Cindy," and she would take her hand and she'd take a pen and she'd start to write it, and it would be C with a little Y and a big N and a little D and an I with a star, and we all agreed that woman might be hot, but she retarded.
Yeah, when you have 2 Olmots in your name, I mean, unless you're a band named Squirrel.
So hold up, is Charlotte Branstad one of the women who's returning?
Yes.
She made the episode where everybody inhaled volcanic ash and we're fine.
Yeah, because that's exactly what happens. I do it every weekend. That's how I get high now, because I have drug tests.
I stand by. I still can't watch The Dragon Prince, and this is why.
Anyway, Brandstrom directed episode 6 and 7 of the first season, titled Udon and the Eye. If you recall, the 6th episode features a nonsensical eruption of Mount Doom, the illogical chase sequence featuring Gandriel, Adar, and Halbrand, and the battle sequence showing the Numerians routing Adar's orcs. The 7th episode was slow and meandering, one that followed the survivors of the eruption as they traveled to the ocean in order to flee the destruction. Brandstrom's other credits include directing episodes of Netflix's Jupiter's Legacy, which was a great comic but a terrible Netflix series, The Witcher, and Away. She also previously directed episodes of Prime Video's The Man in the High Castle, as well as Outlander and Counterpart from Stars, which are shows that I will never watch now that I know that. Hamry previously worked on Fox's Empire series, which was garbage, as well as an episode of the upcoming second season of Prime Video's The Wheel of Time, which is a fucking tragedy. She has also directed episodes of Nashville, Desperate Housewives, Shameless, Rectify, and Glee. All are which shows that make me, go a big rubbery one when I have a constant heart on. She also directed The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, Just Right, and Something New, which are things that I've never heard of because I have a penis. Hooper's credits include the miniseries Flesh and Blood. She's also worked on The Sandman, The Witcher, Inside Number 9, and Treason, which is probably why Henry Cavill quit The Witcher.
I hear a lot of failure in this list. I'm just saying.
That's because I'm talking. Release also notes she received a BAFTA nomination for directing Our Gay Wedding, the musical. And here's a picture of Hamry. She looks like a treat to be around with that resting bitch face. The second season, Brandstrom will be directing 4 episodes and will also serve as a co-executive producer. Hamry and Hooper will both be directing 2 episodes each.
Ayrton?
So we have 6 episodes of resting bitch face to look forward to.
Here's the fun part. They already filmed these episodes, by the way.
Hey, Ayrton, can you acquire this image and then meme into it compensating?
A giant dildo.
As a single word? No. Leave the giant lens. Just put the word compensating below it.
No. Turn her headphones into baldos and her camera into a dragon dildo.
I'll have to have my Photoshop person do it, but yeah, I can make it happen.
Yes, I'll do it, Ayrton. I'll agree on air.
I was talking about my other person, but
I was a graphic designer for 18 years, you prick.
Hey, let church have fun. It's creative. You oppressive
People forget that I've
shitlord.
worked behind this shit for fucking 18 years. What is wrong with you?
I know that, but you work a lot. So
Church,
I was
in matter
going to
of
give
point
it
that
to somebody else.
Hey, Church, in matter of point, that means your insights on the nature of AI art are more important than other people's because that's your job.
Yeah.
That's your zone.
And also, you
no,
can't intellectually.
Actually, that's not fair because graphic design literally revolves around knocking off everything you find.
No, I know. But I'm saying, graphic designers are not going to lose their jobs due to AI art.
Like, you guys have heard about the Trump NFTs?
Yeah.
Okay, well, every one of those were stolen. Okay, well, Trump released some NFTs that sold out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of those NFTs were just Trump's face on pictures from shit like the Men's Warehouse and Amazon selling fashion things.
And it's all connected to cryptocurrency owned by the bank man.
Yeah. Anyway, season 1 directors J.A. Benoya and Wayne Yip will not be returning for the second season because they'd like to get laid in the future. Not many details have been revealed on what the second season will feature because everything's so up in the fucking air. However, back in October, showrunners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne did indicate Sauron will be playing a major role, because we indicated that about the first season, but it didn't fucking pay off.
Oh no, they released a trailer. I've seen it. It made me laugh.
Did they release a trailer that would run me the fuck over before I have to watch this bullshit to talk about it?
No.
Oh, well, I don't care.
Payne
told the Hollywood Reporter season 1 opened.
The summation is little clips of nothing, and Glad Angriel going, Sauron is out there somewhere. Because, of course, that has to be the continuation of the show.
Look, I don't know why I give it...
I
don't know why we suddenly give a shit about emo Eminem. That motherfucker's been dead for 20 years. He got money now.
But that was...
Hold up. Emo Eminem was actually not Sauron. That was a trick.
Yeah, no.
So the guy
Sauron
who
is actually this dude right here in the image. Right here.
Yeah, the dude who saved Galadriel was, the the one who was Sauron the whole time.
Wait, the
person
criminal
she'd been
from
hunting-
Lost
yeah.
is Sauron?
Yep. And it gets better, Church. It gets better. So Galadriel had been hunting him for centuries at this point, and this dude was like right next to her on this whole big epic journey, and she didn't realize it was Sauron. And
I mean, he probably
all
just
of
gives good head.
No, it's even better, Church. 90% of the evil things that Sauron starts to do in the first season were Galadriel's ideas. He said, "I don't want to do this," and she told him to, and he did it.
In the private chat, Meghan and Harry want to sell their house again. They bought 3 years ago now. This is due to several nuances, such as okay. So we've got another link. Did somebody bring that up for you, Larry, or did we just?
No, I'm just showing that on the side there mainly because the fact that people got to sell their house because of the smell of the weed grow farm is funny to me.
Okay. Season 1 opens with who is Galadriel? Where did she come from? What did she suffer? Why is she driven? We're doing the same thing with Sauron in season 2 because women can
season 1.
Well,
no,
they explained. They explained where she came from. She came from the Elvish Isles that were a perfect place of peace and harmony, except she was angry all the time for no reason because she was a woman.
Here's the thing. You're telling me that a group of women can, just emphasize with a man's pain and suffering and growing pains?
No, they're not. They're not because they don't believe men have pain. You didn't watch the show.
But that's what the premise of season 2 is, Larry. They're telling us right here in the article.
They're not
empathizing
with his pain. They're not going to empathize with his pain.
But no. Why? What did she suffer? Well, the alternative question will be, what did Sauron suffer in season 2? Right?
No,
that's got to be there because it's all about Sauron now. That women are going to tell us how they empathize with men.
It's going to be how Sauron's bad to women, how he bans gay marriage.
Oh, excellent. So Sauron will be trying to make Middle-earth great again.
Exactly.
McKay added Sauron will now just be Sauron, like Tony Soprano or Walter White. He's evil, but complexly evil. Fucking Walter White and Tony Soprano were not complexly evil. They were complex characters that did bad things for good reasons on their own terms.
More importantly, I just want to point out Tolkien, the professor, a man I do not like, outright said the evil is not complicated. Sauron's just evil. There's no explanation. There's no deeper meaning. He didn't need one because he's fucking Satan. He's not even Satan. He's diet Satan.
Look, if we did that in season 1, he'd overshadow everything else.
Yeah,
the first season is like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, which brings me back to an earlier topic. If they're rebooting the DC universe, are we going to get to see Batman's parent die again? Because I haven't seen that enough in my life.
I mean, Church. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember that Batman's parents died.
Oh,
they are going to reboot Batman. I need a movie studio to remind me about.
I could use a refresher. Same with Uncle Ben.
Here's the thing.
I'll fucking stab all of you.
Let's talk about that because that's a far more interesting subject than the fucking Rings of Power.
How much more of this? Okay, there's not much more of this. I'll get through it. Let me get through it. The first season is like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight is the next movie with Sauron maneuvering out in the open. We're really excited. Season 2 has a canonical story. There may well be viewers who are like, this is the story we were hoping to get in season 1. In season 2, we're giving it to them. You mean a season 2 late once those viewers have dropped off because you fucked off?
Wait a minute. Church, can I edge in for just a second to point out, by the way, that
I'm not reading the rest of this bullshit. It's all fucking
bullshit.
Stupid.
No, that comparison is bullshit. Okay? Because if this show had been done 20 years previous, right? Year 2000, we're going to have a Lord of the Rings thing. No, not they would have been good. No, they would have been saying, "Oh, it's like Star Wars, and season 2 is like The Empire Strikes Back." The Batman Begins and Dark Knight comparisons are fucking shit because it is using the pop culture reference to buoy up your lack of content in your shit show.
And I mean, realistically, this is more like nothing. Realistically, this is going to be more like The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, you mean there's going to be Bane?
This Galadriel
L'Oreal's gonna be neither of those
charge?
fucking things because it's gonna be a shit show.
So-
Sauron's gonna put his hand on Gandalf's shoulder. Do you feel in charge?
So what was it you were wanting to talk about with the reboot of the DCEU again?
I mean, I
Right.
just wanted to know.
'Cause
I just wanted to know if we were going to get to see Batman's parents
Okay.
die again, because
So-
obviously we haven't seen that
so
enough in
here's
our
the
fucking
thing.
adulthood.
Here's the thing. Because we had time. David and I really dug into this, and I don't actually think that that's what's going on, but I think a lot of people are again doing a lot of alarmist hand wringing. Okay? Yes. Cavill getting out for Superman is a bad move. Like, that's dumb. Okay? Because that's what
I think
everybody's
he
actually
quit.
all
I don't
bitching
think he
about.
got fired. I think he quit.
No,
Wait.
he did get fired. Let me rephrase that. He didn't get fired. He was out of the contract. They chose not to renew
But-
his contract.
Am
But
I the only one who
here's the
didn't
thing.
like him as Superman?
It doesn't matter whether you like them or not.
I
Because the
like
thing
him
is
as an
that- is
actor,
that-
so I want him to have. I want him
the-
to have work.
The thing is that
He
that's
was the
not what
only
people
good
are.
thing in those Zack Snyder movies.
The thing is that people are coming at this from an unrealistic perspective, and they want to be mad at someone, anyone, for everything. Okay?
So-
if you actually take
so-
a step back and think about this logically, right? Zaslav has an unenviable position of trying to repair the fucked upness that was the Snyderverse that was never good, right?
Mhm.
And he's got James Gunn, which is a big get, and Gunn's like, if we were the fly on the wall, I'm sure he's saying, "Man, I can't fix nothing. I can't."
Well, here's
There's. I'm not saying they have to reboot. I'm saying whatever they do was not going to make people happy, but they had to do something because keeping course is trying to change direction, having already hit the fucking iceberg.
here's the thing.
Razor
Rube.
Fist
They were
got
planning
it
a reboot. They were planning a reboot before Zaslav even got there.
Right, because they have to. It's a mess.
I want to point out they've actually already shot their load on the perfect opportunity to reboot by doing
Oh,
Crisis on Infinite Earth on the CW.
Oh yeah, no, they fucked it up. They fucked up everything. I'm just saying, like, it was fucked before they got there.
3 minutes,
And it-
guys. We're going.
So
we're
let-
going dark in 3 minutes. Wrap
Let
it
me
up.
paint the picture with the Henry Cavill thing. He became so
You have
popular
60 seconds.
because he was a popular Superman that they couldn't afford to recast him as Superman.
Rune, rebuttal.
I'm done. Go. Do what you gotta do, Church.
Ayrton, final thoughts.
Henry Cavill was overrated as Superman.
He's still a great actor. And he's a lore nut like me, so we're kindred spirits. I kind of have to love him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, the man was the only reason The Witcher went on as long as it did and as well as it did in the seasons that he was in it.
I will say,
And
quickly,
I look forward to him as Eisenhorn in Warhammer 40K.
if they do that, that'll be amazing. But I will say, if there is one thing that is obviously Warner Brothers fucking up, when the stars align and they give you a win, and the
He
Rock
also
says,
nailed Gina Carano, so I mean,
if the Rock says I will do a movie and I will do that movie for fucking scale, if you will let me have a punch up with my friend, and the friend is in on it, just do the movie. Don't
Yeah,
fuck
but they
around.
won't. They won't.
No, I know.
Apparently, The Rock unfollowed HBO, Black Adam, and Warner Brothers on his Instagram account. And that was a
Oh
big deal.
no, I know.
And
Because the thing is
here's
that
another element to this: The Rock, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa all have the same agent.
Jason Momoa.
yeah, but here's the thing. Just to wrap this, the thing is that you can see where letting things happen naturally works and micromanaging doesn't. Because
Mhm.
on the other hand, on the opposite end of that spectrum, they're letting Ryan Reynolds do another Deadpool, and because Ryan Reynolds asked real nice,
We're gonna get Wolverine in it.
yeah, Hugh Jackman, who said, "I'm retired. I don't want to do this anymore. It's physically hurting me," said, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it one more time for a friend."
All right,
But he's going to be fully CGI.
20 seconds, Larry. Oh,
That was
CGI.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, fully CGI.
All right, Ayrton, you have 40 seconds to get us the fuck out of here.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, okay. Good man.
So I wonder if the fully